really felt singled out more than Penny, didn't you?
I really did, yes. I took a lot of heat. It seemed to me I was getting, you know, I got most of the flack. You know, everybody was, oh, he had to do something, you know, or always like this, never maybe understanding my feelings, what I was going through. And I'm not just about myself here, but, you know, it's the truth what I was going through, you know, and that's the way I felt.
You paid quite a price, as I understand it. You said even your family turned away from you.
Yeah, there was even family members and friends, you know, co-workers that even thought, you know what I mean? And I was alone, but I knew in my heart that God knows my heart and knew I'd done nothing. You know, he knew that. And it was, but I was the only one, it just seemed like. You know, it was only me and God that knew the truth, you know. And it says, I just can't explain that, you know, how that made me feel. And see, and not only that, I mean, I cared for the family, their father, and see them hurt, their broken hearts, and I know how much they love that child too. To see them go through this too was even hard for me to watch them, you know, and even knowing they may look at me a little different.
So how did it come undone then? How did her story unravel, and how did it end up to be where we are now?
I just felt, you know, I just felt something was not right though.
You felt something in your gut?
Yeah, in your stomach. You just felt deep down that there was something wrong, and you know, it wasn't just right. And I think other people felt that too. You know, they could feel something. It just wasn't like a normal grieving person should be acting like, especially losing their daughter, right?
And at that point, what did you do?
I mean, I was having mixed feelings about it myself. You wanted to be there for somebody, but yet you didn't want to be around them, you know, because you know, feeling if they done something like that.
But did you call police?
Well, I've talked, like I cooperated with the police from the very beginning.
But did you tell the police, I have a feeling, you know, this is just my sense?
Well, I did tell them that. I did actually tell them that in the interview. I even went in and said, I feel something's just not right, you know, and I told them how I felt. I mean, I'm going to tell the truth, you know. And they said, you know, and I did, you know, told them whatever I could to help them. You know, it's always forward. Always tried to help them until they started looking at me and accusing me, and then I can't cooperate then. I mean, I was scared to death for myself, you know. And
you offered to take a lie detector test?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I offered. They asked me if I'd take one, and I said sure. And I called them up a couple of days later because they were going to arrange it, and all of a sudden they changed their mind. They didn't want me to take a lie detector test.
So at what point did you know that she'd murdered Carissa? Like, when was that very clear?
I actually, it wasn't clear until I heard her confession. I mean, I knew in my heart there was some things that, you know, I didn't, you know, that made me question, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt.
How do you feel about talking today?
I'm glad to be able to finally be able to talk and, you know, and have my say as well, you know, just to tell them what I've been through, that it wasn't easy here. It was no picnic for anybody. And tell the family too how much I'm so sorry for them, you know, see their pain that they went through.
Will you ever be able to see them and tell them yourself, do you think?
I hope so, yes. I hope so, that I can tell them that. Because I really do, from my heart, I feel for them. You know, they've been all through this too, you know.
Have you been to Carissa's memorial site?
I wasn't able to go because people thought that I had something involved with this, and I couldn't even go to the memorial, you know, until this was settled, you know. You know, like I said, I didn't want any confrontations with anybody, and, you know, people are entitled to their opinion, but may not be right, but...
Will you do that? Do you think you'll visit the site?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be my first agenda, actually, is to go and take one of her bears to the site that she gave me, so...
That was the bear?
Well, I gave her a bear called Teddy. I have she drew me like a crayon, you know, thanking me for giving her the bear, because I said I had a bear, and I said it needs a home, right? Well, she thought it was great. She called it Paws.
You know how sometimes people say, you know, things happen for a reason. Can you see any reason?
No. I know this was avoidable. It shouldn't have happened. If I had went that day, maybe I would have, you know, I feel guilty sometimes that if I had just insisted to go, she'd have been okay, right? But I had no idea. It'd be the last time I see her. You know, I had no idea. I think of her all the time, though. There's not a day goes by that I don't think about it. I just remember the good things, and I remember she loved the Lord, though. She always used to have her Bible. She used to ask if she could go in and read mine. I used to have mine laid out on a table. She always loved to read the Bible. She'd be writing stuff down, you know.
Does that give you any comfort at all?
It does, because I believe she's in the hands of the Lord. I believe she's with God, and it gives me comfort to know that she's safe with Him. That's the comfort I get a little bit. Even though through all this I know that she's in God's hands. That's what I believe.